Hi, welcome back. I am still working on an album for Scrap and Create. We are doing this beautiful album. We've already completed the outside. We've completed the left inside panel. And now we're working over here on page 1. And I've got it pretty much laid out. We are playing, just for your information, with the romantic collection called Romance Forever by Stamperia. And this is somewhat what I have laid out for you here. This is what the page is going to look like. Now, please understand that the lace is from my personal stash. It did not come from Scrap and Create. So if you have lace in your stash that you want to use, or don't use it at all, this piece would look just like this if you don't use any lace. And you can put this where you want, but there's a beautiful lacy piece right here. But I am using lace because I do sell these and I want them to come across in a very favorable fashion. So that's what I'm going to do. So I put these on my Spellbinders Platinum and I cut these out, but I had to fussy cut around because I didn't have a die that gave me a thin enough border. And this I have fussy cut out and mounted it on the white cardstock, and then I've put some pop-ups on it so that it would come up off the page. And in the collection that she sent me this cute little baggie. I think I've showed you this before, but it's full of all these wonderful trinkets and things. And I am going to put this little brass rose on the front. Now, typically I have things that open this way, but I decided I would change it up a little bit. These are actually going to open up to the top. Now, if you don't like that, you can certainly open them. Just make sure that you're giving yourself enough here on the edge, because we do have a 5/8 cut here. So this piece measures 8 1/8, and you're going to score it at 1/2, and you're going to score it at 5/8. Its partner over here also measures in at 8 1/8, and again you're going to score it at 1/2, and you're going to score it at 7/8. I wanted to do something a little bit different, so we're going to do a top flip. So, and then using the scraps off of this collection that we're using, off of this collection here, this 12 by 12, these were florets that were down here, the top and the bottom, and I'm using them to make pockets up on the top flap. And then these will go like so. 2 little pockets using the scraps. And then this is a scrap from a larger cut. So we will be using that on here as well. And when I cut it, I cut off a part of the dove. So we only have the bottom half. I've put this on my Spellbinders. I cut this out, and then I had one that the ring was big enough for me to cut the white out. So we're going to put that there to kind of hide this image. If you don't want to put the doves there, you can certainly select any other image that is in the collection. It is yours, so make it yours. I was going to put this all the way across, but that would then have this coming forward. So I am only going to I'm going to come down here to the edge, and I'm only going to be running this ribbon from here down to the left. Not going to worry about putting it right there. Now the magnets, we're going to be needing 2 The first set of magnets will need to go under this, because if we put it under here, I would be a bit concerned that we would have enough pull that the magnet would be strong enough. So I'm going to put the magnet back here, and then the other half will be able to match up. This one, the magnet is just going to go right behind this piece. And while I'm thinking about it, I need to get another set out. So the other set's going to go underneath here on this end. So let me give you these measurements again so that you have them. Both of these are going to open from bottom to top. They're both the same measurement. They measure across at 5 1/4. Your base piece is at 10 1/2. So halfway right smack in the middle, we're going to be at 5 1/4 on each piece. And then once again, their overall length is at 8 1/8 with a 1/2 inch score and a 5/8 inch score on both cardstock pieces. This big pocket, I loved the floral. I just love it. So this was some extra that I had. So this came in at 3 inches by the 10 1/2 inch length. And then you're going to cut to fit this piece. And depending upon how you cut it, you are then going to have half of the dove. Therefore, I'm using a little circle. Still got the dove, it's just in a different format. All right, so let's go ahead and start putting this together. I've already inked everything, so we don't need to worry about getting any of that done. And I am going to start with this piece first. By the time we start putting on the flaps, I don't want to have to deal with those and then come back to this. I am out of 1/4 inch score tape, so hold on. I forgot I used that. I apologize. And you get to listen to the crinkle of me getting into this. Boy, what did they do? There we go. Now let's see if I can't find the start. Sometimes, there it is. Sometimes it's a little difficult. All right. You know, if you watched a previous build that I did, I had to delete 3 builds and had to do instructional videos because silly me, I did not know that I could not play music in the background and have not have YouTube declared as a copyright. So I had to delete those 3 videos and, like I said, do an instructional rather than a build, which is what we're doing right now. I thought I had it all worked out by downloading a free app, the word free being what I was after, because apparently you have to pay royalties on copyrighted material, which I understand, but I just didn't think that it was a big deal. But anyway, so I downloaded iHeartRadio, and I was playing this, and I found it so soothing, and all the way through the video, get right down to like the last 10%, and YouTube comes in and says copyright. The song that was on iHeartRadio after all of that was copyright. So I'm at the point now where I am just not doing any music. I really would love to, but I am kind of gun shy on that now. So the point of my telling you that is there's going to be some dead space in here as I move. I don't chitter chatter all that much. So I apologize in advance if it gets kind of quiet. It's just the way it works out. Okay, get this in here. Oh, I just messed up. Oh my goodness. I can't put that on there. I'm glad I got that because I have to put the flaps on first. My sincere apologies. Because I've got to get a magnet over here on this side. So let's get that one set up. I'm using 3/8 inch tape. And I'm going to come around the back. I want to make sure that I have my paper and my cardstock even on the end here, and that I am just coming, whoops, I want to come up to this 1/2 inch score line. It's the first score line coming this way. I want to bring my paper right up to it. Don't want to encroach on the score line. And I need to do something rather quickly here. I apologize. I have to lower a shade. It's getting a bit bright to work on. Everything's glowing off the paper. Okay, now, when you do that, when you put it down, I want you to always push back, and we're going to score along that score line to make sure that the gusset we've created is nice and flat. And I'm going to go ahead and install this one. And now I'm going to turn this over. And get that right up to that 1/2 inch score line. I'm going to turn it this way. I am so sorry. I need to make sure that I am even here on this end. And then I'm flush with that score line here on this side. I'm going to turn it over. And then we're going to burnish. And then I'm going to push back and encourage that to do what it needs to do. Now on this side, we are going to put on, I want to put the magnet on the flap because I know how far down this is coming, and I don't want to put it here and then anticipate where it needs to be on the flap. So I'm putting it on the top part of this flap. Oh, isn't that cute? I don't think that picker's taking that. Okay, now let me put it back on. Now, when you lay this down, I want you to be careful and make sure that your gusset is standing up nice and tall and that you're even here on the edge. And then you're going to sit it down. And then now I'm slide it to take it off. Now I'm going to put this on. I want to put the magnet under the cut apart on this side. Okay. Set that down. I probably should have taped it because I've got a magnet under there. Oh boy. All right, now the magnet for this is going to be a little bit tricky, I think. So I'm going to eyeball this about the same as this magnet here. And then what I want to do is come down here. I want to put this in place. And then I want to come down here. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to squeeze because I want to look in here and I want to see just how far down that magnet needs to sit. I don't know if you can see that or not without it falling below here. All right, so the tricky part is if this is going to be here, I know how to do it. I know what I need to do. I think it's going to be I didn't really anticipate this. Okay, I'm trying to think this through, folks. I apologize. But I need to make sure that that magnet is going to be in the right spot. All right, so this is roughly where it needs to be on the reverse side. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to kind of mark an X. And now I am going to now if I put it here, okay, that's going to be the reverse side. All right, so let's put a tad bit of glue. I'm going to put that right there. And then sit this down because I can pick the glue up if I need to remove this. Okay, see how it's pulling over? So I think I need to move this way. I should have had this figured out before I did this video. There, I've got it. My apologies. Okay. Now I'm going to need a little bit of reinforcement here, so I'm going to use some tape to tape this down. Now, if you had a better way of matching those up, have at it. That was not smooth, I can tell you. So if you know what you're doing, and I'm sure that you do, I am very happy for you. Okay, let's try this again. No, now it's pulling that way. Oh, for Pete's sake. I'm glad that's going to cover this, but I don't want to tear it. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I just figured it out. It just doesn't. It takes a village, I swear sometimes. Okay, ta-da, look at this. Put a piece of paper in between the two magnets. Give yourself a little dab of glue. I bet you knew that already. Then make sure that your gusset is standing up tall and that your side over here is level. Give her a good push so that she stays in place. Slide that off. I am such a silly person. I just amaze myself. All right, now there is no issue as long as I place this. I've got tape that's going to run up too high though. Can I get that down without having to use undo? Undo. I want this to go this way. And I wanted it over here. Okay, what I want to make sure is that I don't have tape that's behind here because I put, all right. Yay. All right, now I'm going to fold it this way so that we can work on these two panels. These were the two pieces that were going to go on the inside. And these two pieces being my magnet pieces, I am going to use tape to put them on. And I'm going to run them sideways so I can put them together a lot better. You can tell that the back of this is one of the sheets that you've got some cutouts. There are not very many sheets in this collection that are double-sided. There's approximately 4 that are cut aparts, or they're those big cards, 4x6 cards, I do believe. And I think you notice in the description list the amount of packs you're going to need is because there just isn't very many. And we need several to get a decent album. All right, there's no real true pattern direction on this, so I am just going to take that tape off. And I want to do this here so that I can see my two lines. I can see my top and bottom are spaced evenly. And then if I come, over here, I should be evenly spaced. I want to look at, because I've been flopping these around, I want to see if I've got the right side on the correct half. That's what I thought. I did not have much of a margin on one side, so I knew then I must have put it on the wrong side. Get that tape down around that magnet really well. We're going to get that burnished. Now I'm going to put the tape on this side. This is that spot where it gets real quiet. After this collection, I think I've got paper coming from Scrap and Create for 3 more albums. So I'm kind of excited about that. And by the time you see this, I will have gotten those collections and probably have them done and completed. Oh, there it is. Take off the middle one. And then I want to line this up. Top to bottom, side to side. That's a much better fit. This paper collection, as I was looking at it, can really be used for a lot of things. A wedding, an anniversary, a bridal shower. It can be used for a lot of those events. All right, so this is what we have so far. Now we have some pockets that we are going to create. And I have the cardstock already cut. I use this, goes this way. I use the scraps to create the paper to cover them. And then this, so it helps to pull it all the way through. I would like to put some ribbon up here, but I don't think I've got a thin enough ribbon. So I'll just be satisfied with what I put down here. Now, please understand that the ribbon is optional. But if you do choose to use ribbon, you can use any color that you want. If this is for a wedding album, and you want it to match one of the colors, go for it. If it's an anniversary and you want to try and match their wedding colors, I think that would be cool to do something like this. For an anniversary. All right, tuck in my little overhangs. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to carefully lay this right up next to that score line. And then we're going to place this in here. I think that would be so pretty with a little bit of ribbon. A Let me look at something here real quick while I'm thinking about it. I have some very flat. You know, that would work. It's flat. It's not going to interfere with... I think I'll just put a little bit of this on there so it would kind of dress it up, because this beaded ribbon is going to be down there. This looks slightly plain without it. So I can just put... I might do that. Still not convinced, so I need to mull it over in my brain. I think what would look good is a real thin piece of white satin, because we do have a satin ribbon that's tying the front of it, but I don't have thin white satin ribbon. All right, coming right up to that score line, put it down, give it a good burnish. And then this was the piece that was going to go on this side. It would be nice if I could do it this way, so this was kind of matching, but then the rose is upside down. I don't know if you have followed me along on any of my other videos, but I use scraps. I just think it's a pitiful waste to have them all sitting over in a pile, and so I try to use it throughout the build of the album. I'm going to put this on last because it's going to take a little bit to do that. I want to move to the front. This is the piece that's going to go on this side. Do a little bit of a dry fit. See if I need to, I want to trim the side real quick. Not much. I think just a hair. Now let me put it down here. Now I've got a little bit more of a white border. I'm using Distress Ink old paper, in case you're wondering. All right, let's put this back down here. You know, I want, let me see this other piece. What did I have going on over here? I had just a slight larger margin around the edge. So I think I'm going to trim this just another hair. Not much. Just a hair. I like that better. That's better. Okay. Down, give her a good old burnish. Put it up here because I'm burnishing over this element down here, so it's not it's not playing nice. All right, now we're going to put this one on, and I do believe I told you in the beginning of the video that these are off the same 12 by 12. This is the left side of the 12 by 12, and this is the right side of the 12 by 12. And then under here, these were the same 12 by 12. These are pieces cut off of the top and bottom of this because I cut this to fit in there. Now, putting in the word love. It's going to take a little spacing. I keep playing with this, make sure I can get it all in here, looking proper. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with the L. And then the O. And there is also nothing wrong with you changing the design. If you don't like the elements that I'm putting on, change them. You want them to look something different, it's your album. Nobody says you have to copy me. Now, it's going to be easier if I open this and burnish from under here, because this is a flatter surface, and I'm not trying to burnish over the top of those. Now, I am going to put down this lace because I've got I'm looking for something here, I apologize. I hope I have enough. I'm going to take 1/8 inch tape and I'm going to run it right along this edge. I'm all out too. Okay. Because what I would like to do is put this down here as straight as I can along this piece that I have, this edge that I have in the lace. And then using 3-in-1, I am going to come in here and put a daub on the rosettes all the way down the line. I don't need to glue this whole thing, and I think at some point the glue would show through, or at least I think it would. So I just want to pull this over ever so gently. I'm going to give that a daub, and then I'm going to come down here and use my art glitter glue to glue the ends. I want to set something heavy on that until it sits up. And then I'm going to come down here and do the same thing right along this edge. Lay the lace down onto the glue. Okay, and now to just make sure that it's going to stay in there really good, I'm going to run my glue right around this scalloped edge. I don't want anything snagging on that and causing that to tear or lift. So I am just going to run a bead of glue under the scalloped edge all the way down. And now I'm going to clean up the trim on this. There. All down. And now while I finish the rest of this, that should set up nice and dry. All right, over here I wanted to put this little saying, when two are of one mind, their strength is great. And then the little brass trinkets that I got from Scrap and Create, I'm going to put a heart right there. And then I thought about putting right here a little flat back pearl. And I just thought of something. I'm doing a squirrel, folks. I'm wondering what would that look like. The big ones are too much. What if it's a little one? Oh, come on. It's sticking to my finger. There we go. Wonder what that would look like. I think that would be pretty. And then you got the one over here. I'm just going to place them down here because I can take them off. If I do decide I want to leave them on here, I'm going to glue them down because the sticky backs on these, they just don't cut it. Okay, I wonder, can I get away with putting one down here on this, or is that going to look odd? No, I think that looks okay. So what do you think? I think we're a go. So I am going to lift them, put some art glitter glue underneath there so it would help with permanent attachment to my lace. Okay, so I will go ahead and take the backs off of this. And I want that right about here. Let me get that out of the way. I want this centered in here just a little bit better. There we go. And I'm going to put this flat back pearl right there. The adhesives on these I have found over time have dried out, and then the pearls have all fallen off, so that's why I'm taking the time to put some glue on them. Now these little brass pieces, they do better with glossy accents for adhering them down to the paper because it's a better connection with between the brass and the paper. Now, what I am going to do is I want to tuck that hook up underneath the element there. So that should set up fairly quickly. Get my glue cap back on. All right, so let's just kind of go through and see how we're doing here. Make sure that we've got all of our pieces. I really want to do something here, and I still have to do this because I just think that's plain Jane to me. Where did my spool of lace go? There we go. I think I am going to put this up here. Now I have, I think, enough density in the lace that I'm going to run some tape on this for it to adhere. So let's see what happens. I'm going to use the 1/4" tape. I got this, by the way, at Joann's. In fact, that's where I get almost all my ribbon or my lace. Just giving a gentle tug so that it will straighten out here. Yeah, I think that will work. So I'm going to run another 1/4" strip along the bottom. Okay. Bend that back a little bit. It came off pretty easy. Come off my skin. There we go. Now I'm going to start from this side out because if I've got to do any trimming on the length, I want to be out here. So I'm going to run that right here at this edge. And then just right along the top part of the pocket. I don't have too much that I have to trim. Yay. Okay, I think that just kind of dresses it up just a little bit better. No, it looks like this is May Arts ribbon. I'm such a silly girl, I buy it by the big spools. Those. Get this down here. Okay, I gotta take this up. I gotta feel my lace here a little bit better. There we go. Right now, start this over here. There we go. All right, now the same thing. I'm going to start here and go out. So if I have to trim it, I can. Okay, so I'm going to start right here. It's sticking to me. Nope, length is okay. All right, that just dresses it up a little bit better for me. I like that a lot better. Now, I'm going to run a length of 1/4" tape down here right up to this element here. Give that a good burnish. And then I'm going to take this off. And then I am going to start down here. And I'm going to bunch this end together. It wants to come apart. And I tried to glue it in the last video with art glitter glue. It just wasn't going to take. And then I found glossy accents. I thought, you know what? That will work. Boy, did it. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to put a bit of glossy accents right along there. I'm going to push that down. And while that's doing its thing, I'm going to sneak under here and put a bead of glossy accents. Look at me, I can't tell if I'm getting glue down there or not because I can't see under the ribbon. There we go, now we are. All right, that should be holding, and now I'm going to pinch these together and press. Put my cap back on while I'm pinching this, holding it together. Now, if I wanted to be really brave, I would cut one of these sections off and put it right there. And you know, I might do that, but if I do that, I'll do that off camera. I'm not going to have, and I'll show you in the next video if that's what I did. Okay. Now you could take some flat back pearls and put them here. Also in the fussy cut papers, there are some pearl pieces. I'll show you right here. You could fussy cut those out and put them here. But I think I'm good. Okay, let's turn it over and we are going to put the tape on the back. I really like that. I'm so glad you thought of that. Thank you. And now I want this to stay in the album, so I'm going to use 5/8 ribbon to make sure that it's got good tape connection. So I'm going to run that along the edge. Give it a snip. And I'm going to go around this way. And through here. And I'm going to use some 3/8 tape. It's quite a long signature. I'm going to use 3 of them, about 1/3 of the way down each one of these across the back, so that we have some super good tape coverage in the middle. Okay, I'm going to start down here. Get all the bubbles out, all your creakles and folds out, because air will get in there and that's where your tape failure will come because it dries out. All right, let's put it in the album. And I know something I forgot to tell you, but if you cut what I told you to cut, you should be okay. But in placing this in the album, you're going to come right up to this edge, and I'm going to put a piece of colored paper there so I can see it, right up to that edge, and you're going to be even top to bottom. You're going to notice that there's a considerable gap over here. That's so that the page can fold over and not start to buckle and bow up on you. I will always leave a little bit here, just to the left or the right of the gussets, so that, like I said, when this page folds over, it's not competing for room or space. So I am now going to take this and turn it this way. I'm going to take just these out. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm right at just in front of the edge, not quite, and that I am even top to bottom on the cardstock page. And then I'm going to gently lay the signature down. I'm going to open up And I'm going to give her a good score so that those stay, that stays down, because I'm going to do some tweaking here now. I've got to get up underneath here and take the rest of this tape out. Pardon my head, I'm sorry, but I do need to see what I'm doing here. And then we take off this last piece. Come on. All right. Now I'm going to open this up. I'm going to give it a good burnish. Now you have tons of room here to store your favorite items. See those sealed really nice. And you have pockets here. You can put photos here. You have a large space to put several fairly large photos, and then you have a nice pocket. And then that closes. And that is the completion of your page 1 build. I'll see you on the next one.